Hello guys, welcome again to this episode. This is just the second entry to the former videos. If you have not already seen it, you need to actually watch the video that this particular episode is following, because it is the same video. I just decided to break it into two because it was getting so long and I don't want to overburden people and make it difficult to watch. Anyways, in that episode, I was talking about if it is possible to fund your education through the work you do in Canada, to which I have responded positively that it's actually possible because I've seen so many people do it, even though I don't recommend it, right? It's a stress. It can be stressful for some people, but in this episode, I am dropping tips on how you can make that possible from my experiences also working in Canada myself, and from the experiences I've seen my friends and acquaintances here in Canada. So without further ado, if you are visiting for the first time, I am Chrys and I am so happy to see you. For the purposes of this video, please, you do have to see the preceding video. Yes, the preceding video before this one. Okay, just don't go further, just see that one first and then come back to see this one. Right? Yeah, thank you. So please don't forget to like this video. You see that sign like this, please click on it. Okay, click on it and then recommend the videos to your friends. Please do this. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Why do you? Come on guys, kilo shelle, wetin dey happen? What's up? Qu'est-ce que super? You keep watching these videos and you're not subscribing. Please do subscribe. Anyways, I don't want to overburden this video. Let's get down to business. I divided this trend. Is it trend? Yes, this trend into five different parts, right? I wanted to talk about finance. I want to talk about the city or location where you should go for your studies. I also want to talk about the schools, which schools should you apply, big school, colleges and things like that. And then I also want to talk about jobs, actual job. Job is the main thing we want to talk about in this episode. So jobs. So what jobs should you be looking at, and then the general pros and cons of those who want to work here and pay their school fees through the work they do. So I've already discussed finance. I've already discussed location, the province or city you should be gunning for, and I've also discussed about schools and what kind of research academic programs should you be applying for. Anyway, so in this episode, I'm going to talk about jobs and then the general pros and cons for those who want to fund their education in Canada through the work they do in Canada. All right, so without further ado, let's get down to business. Are you able to work and study in Canada at the same time while funding your school expenses from the work you do? Yes, you are able to do that. However, you are only able to do that depending on two most important things. First, are you able to work at least 40 hours in a week? And secondly, are you able to secure good paying jobs? Now, here are a few things you should know about working or about jobs in Canada. So, anyone who got their visas, who got their study permit to study in Canada before October of 2022 can work full-time in Canada, can work 40 hours full-time in Canada. So, I am working full-time. In fact, I have two jobs. Beside my graduate teaching assistantship, I also work outside my campus, where I also work full-time, sometimes 40 hours in a week at least. So yeah. Why? Because I got my study permit before October 2022. So anyone who got their study permit before then, or before October 2022, can work full-time in Canada, whereas every other person can only work, or they're only permitted to work in Canada 20 hours. So can 20 hours of work secure you a job, secure you that huge source of funding for you to pay your school expenses, food the bills of your school expenses? No, it is not enough. 20 hours of work is not enough. But what can you do, to leverage on that? Well, you can do two things. Like I said, those who came to Canada, students who came here to Canada, before 2022, who got their study permit before 2020, they're already working full time, and they are paying their school fees from the work they do. So it is no problem for them. However, I know those who are watching these videos are those who are yet to secure their study permit. So this study permit restriction of 20 hours would apply to them. Is there anything you can do? Obviously, there are two things to do. There are illegal thing to do, and there is a legal thing to do. So what can you do illegally to get to work up to 40 hours in a week? First, you can work within school. So if you are working within school, this 20 hours does not apply to you. So if you are working in school, within school, you can work full-time job. Like supposing you have a teaching assistantship, you can take as many teaching assistantship as possible. You can take teaching assistantships from your department or from neighboring cognate disciplines, or from neighboring brother discipline or sister discipline. Yeah, so you can take as many TAs as you can handle. You can even take a TA, a teaching assistantship, and a research assistantship. That is one way to do it. Another thing you could do is you can take your 20 hours of work outside of school and maybe take another 20 hours of work within school. That's another legal thing to do. Now, there are cash jobs. Cash job is illegal. I've never seen any YouTuber who recommend people doing cash job because it is illegal. I'm not telling you to go and do it. Remember, it's just that people are doing it, and it's one thing that I've seen people here do. So you could do cash jobs and then do your 20 hours job. The most important thing is, if you're able to work full time, you can earn at least 2,700, or we can earn at least 2,700 to 3,000 Canadian dollars after tax. And if you're able to earn this much, then obviously you're going to be able to pay your school tuition and cover your living expenses. So that would be enough. The only problem is not being able to get up to 40 hours of work or 32 hours of work per week. That's the only problem. But if you're able to get that, then there's no problem. So what are cash jobs? Cash jobs are those jobs that you get behind the scenes. You do not use your social SIN or social insurance number to get this kind of job. You are not being paid through your social insurance number, so you are not taxed, and it does not reflect in any of your financial documents. So they can either give you the money back or just so that is cash jobs. It is illegal, and if you do it, you will be transgressing your permit. You'll be doing something that is against your study permit. People are doing it. So that is one way to do it. So another legal thing to do is to wait during your summer breaks or during your breaks. You work full time, work as much as you can, save up enough to pay for that term's tuition fee. So it's also possible, because that period, if you work like Jackie if you work seriously, you could actually get what you need for your school tuition. It's another thing you could do. Some schools allow students to take study leave. Study leave is at least I know University of Canada West do give at least 3 to 4 months of study leave. I'm not sure, but at least it is up to 3 months of study leave. And believe you me, within 3 months you can save up to a year worth of tuition. In fact, more than a year worth of tuition. So that is things to do. So get a study break, or during your working holidays, you make serious good use of your time. The main important thing is you're able to work full time, and if you're able to work full time, you're able to earn at least 2,700 to 3,000 Canadian dollars per month, and that is enough. Just imagine you earn that after tax, right? After tax, and maybe remove all your expenses, and maybe 1,500 expenses, right? You already have the other 1,500. You save it. So if you do that for like 4 months, 4 good months of the term, you can save up to 5,000 Canadian dollars to pay for that term. And most school fees, most termly fee for professional degrees is within that range. So that is that for how to get to work for 40 hours, the different strategies you could use to work up to 40 hours in Canada. The second consideration on our list is what types of job to do. Now, any job that can pay you above $17 can do the work, can do the trick for us, can allow us to study and use what we earn from our work to fund our study, right? So first on my list is tech jobs. Oh my god, these jobs pay more. Tech jobs can pay you above at least $35 per hour. I mean, no, tech jobs are over the chart, so go for tech jobs. Look for them if you have tech skills and you're a tech savvy kind of person. You know how to do programming, software engineering and all that. In fact, your matter is closed. This video is not for you. This video is for some other people who are not into tech, because if you're in the tech jobs, even if you are working for 20 hours, you should be able to pay your school tuition or the cost of your school expenses. Now, advantages of tech job is they are high paying, they are flexible. Most of these jobs you don't even need to report to any office to do, so you can do it from the comfort of your house. And then another kind of job is support work or care jobs. These jobs, at least they pay in BC where I stay, they pay at least, the least any kind of this kind of job can pay you is $17-18. So yes, so go for them. These are the reasons I would like you to go for support. You remember, I am doing support work and I love my job. I mean, in fact, I'm even going to change my thesis to, I'm even going to allow my thesis to inform my work doing my, what I do as a support worker. And so they are somewhat easy to find. Support work are somewhat easy to find. They are flexible. They have this flexible work environment. They are not required. They don't give you dressing code. You must report. This kind of, they are flexible. Yeah, and then they have fair pay. Although $18 is small money, it's not that great, but over time they can pay as much as $35 per hour, and I mean that is huge for a student. And then there are PR jobs. Many support work jobs are NOCSI. Is it NOCSI or NOCB? Whatever that means. They are just PR jobs. They can qualify you to apply for PR. So be on the lookout for this kind of job, because when you are done with your school, it is easy to to be retained by your employer. And your employer, at least if you keep working with them for 1 year, they can give you your PR. So they can help you. The job qualifies for PR once you have done it for 1 year, at least 1 year after your studies. So, and then the drawback for this kind of job is that it's not for everyone. Some people don't like, if it is care job for those in the taking care of old people. Some people don't want to, they are afraid to care for other people, clean up, hygiene, personal hygiene and things like that. And then for those doing care support work for SROs, how do I explain SROs? There is this homeless situation in most Western world. So the people that work in the buildings that house homeless people kind of thing. Yes, so many people can be scared to work with people with serious drug issues or drug substance use problem. Many people might not be comfortable working with them, but I really don't think there's anything to worry about. That human beings and the job is good and flexible. No one worries you too much. It is the only job that they are always recruiting. So yes, I don't think I should say anything again. It is my job and I love it and I recommend it to everyone. Yeah, so another job I did in Canada I had a horrible experience. In fact, I used to joke that I did have PTSD for that job. It is working as a grocery clerk in all these retail business franchise like Northfield, Superstore, even McDonald's, and all these either restaurants or all these big retail stores, retail supermarkets. I mean, one of the reasons I don't like this job is that it is stressful. You will stand all day. If your shift is for 8 hours, for 8 hours you shall stand. And then they pay minimum wage. If the minimum wage of your province is $12, they'll be paying you $12 and nothing more. But the good thing is that they are easy to find. They are always recruiting because they don't retain people. People always come and go. And another good thing is that it's a unionized job. If you start working with them, it will be very difficult for them to sack you. So I am not saying that this job is a bad job, but I think that, in my opinion, I think this kind of job is a bad job for students, because as a student, you need a job that after working, you can have time to go back to your studies. But believe you me, when I was working for Safeway, I worked as a meat clerk or something. Yes, meat. I worked in the meat department. Oh my God, you have to wash the meat store, do all those things. It was stressful. When I come back from work, I don't have the strength to study or do any other thing. So Safeway is a good company. They are a good employer. It's just that for students, you should look for work that would be easier for you to do. And in my opinion, I don't think doing a work in grocery retail stores is one of those jobs that you should go for, you should go on for. I am down to the last thing I have for this episode. Other consideration, pros and cons. Also, yes, it is possible to work and study at the same time and pay your school fees through the work you do. But there are two things that you need to know. If you are working to pay your school fees, your education will suffer. Yes, your education will suffer. If you really want to forge an academic career, doing this kind of a thing is not for you. If you want to build a career in the academia, I don't think you should do this. Seek for scholarship. Like I said, most research degrees are funded. Look for funded programs. Or otherwise, you do this program. After you do this program that you'll be paying for your school fees and all that, later on you can go for another program that for your academic program. So yes, your education will surely suffer. That is it. Yes. And then it might also affect your permanent residence, your PR application. Supposing you transgress your study permit requirements. Supposing you transgress, you do like working more than 40 hours and it was so obvious, and yes, it will affect. But yes, other than that, if to migrate is your main purpose, I think it is something you should really consider. It is possible to do. Just have your initial money, at least 15,000 to 20,000 Canadian dollar initially, to be able to convince visa officers that you are really a serious person. Then when you come in, you can hustle the rest out. You can work and then fund your school expenses through the work you do. Yes, so that is what I have for today, and please do not forget to like this video and share with your friends. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you always. And if you are visiting for the first time, do not forget to subscribe. Don't just watch, subscribe. Yes, so guys, thank you very much for coming. Everyone, Ishe, thank you. Yeah, bye bye and see you next week. Bye bye.